Ambassador Sondland leaned in basically to say, well, we have an agreement that there will be a meeting if specific investigations are put underway. And that's when I saw Ambassador Bolton stiffen. I was sitting behind him in the chair, and I saw him sit back slightly like this. He'd been more moving forward like I am to the table. And for me, that was an unmistakable body language, and it caught my attention. And then he looked up to the clock, and, at his watch, or towards his wrist in any case. Again, I was sitting behind him, and basically said, well, it's been really great to see you. I'm afraid I've got another meeting. And did Ambassador Sondland say who his agreement on this White House meeting was with? In that particular juncture, I don't believe so. It was later, which I'm sure you'll want to talk about, that he did say more specifically. And what did he say later? Later, he said that he had an agreement with Chief of Staff Mulvaney that in return for investigations, this meeting would get scheduled. And was he specific at that point later about the investigations that he was referring to? He said the investigations in Burisma. Now, did you have a conversation with Ambassador Bolton after the subsequent meeting with Ambassador Sondland? I had a discussion with Ambassador Bolton both after the meeting in his office, a very brief one, and then one immediately afterwards, the subsequent meeting. So the subsequent meeting, or after both meetings, when you spoke to him and relayed to him what Ambassador Sondland said, what did Ambassador Bolton say to you? Well, I just want to highlight, first of all, that Ambassador Bolton wanted me to hold back in the room immediately after the meeting. Again, I was sitting on the sofa with a colleague. Right, but just in that second meeting, what did he say? Yes, but he was making a very strong point that he wanted to know exactly what was being said. And when I came back and related it to him, he had some very specific instruction for me. And I'm presuming that that's what was that specific instruction? So, a specific instruction was that I had to go to the lawyers, to John Eisenberg, our senior counsel for the National Security Council, to basically say, you tell Eisenberg, Ambassador Bolton told me, that I am not part of this whatever drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland are cooking up. What did you understand him to mean by the drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland were cooking up? I took it to mean investigations for a meeting. Did you go speak to the lawyers? I certainly did. You relayed everything that you just told us and more? I relayed it precisely, and then the details of how the meeting had unfolded as well, which I gave a full description of this in my October 14 deposition.